Well, let's go to our first voicemail.
Hi, Jerry. Hey, Glenn. Jerry, question for you is, with all your years of running Memphis and talent development and everything, have you ever decided or thought about going into development with WWE, either in NXT or with the WWE Raw or SmackDown? Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's a good question. And I can't remember how long ago it was, but I have been approached, and I think it was just sort of a feeling out process about doing that, like getting involved. And I've always said, man, I've never offered any, oh gosh, I don't know. I've never offered any advice or ever offered any ideas or anybody or anything like that to anybody other than I guess when Michael Cole and I were doing we're doing our little thing there before WrestleMania. They would come to me and I would give them some ideas on what I thought he and I should do. But as far as any of the other things involved with creative, I've tried to stay away from that because I've just heard what to me would be horror stories about what happens to you when you get involved with and working in creative. And by horror stories, it's not, I just mean that to me personally, because what happens is when you're on that end, you really have to be totally dedicated 100% to that. And I've just heard stories and it's understandable that Vince expects you to be ready to go at a moment's notice, 24 hours a day. You got to be on call. And I've Dusty Rhodes was one of the guys that told me one time, King, Vince may call at midnight or something and keep you on the phone for 2 hours or something, and just that sort of thing. And I was always, I always loved to go to the show, do whatever it is I got to do, and then go home or go when you go, you're on your own time, you got your freedom and that sort of thing. And I just know that when you're involved in that, especially in the WWE, man, you are expected to be totally dedicated. And I just have never. I knew I would never be able to have that kind of dedication to it. I don't know why, other than I guess I'm just a little bit selfish with my time. I just like to have my time to do what I want to do, as opposed to being under the gun to do what somebody else wants me to do all of the time. And so I don't know. And the other thing is this. That part of this business was not something that I enjoyed. I always enjoyed the performing and not the behind the scenes stuff. I did it for 20 years when Jarrett and I were partners in Memphis. I did along with Jerry, did the booking, did the all the office stuff, the payroll, the planning, hiring and firing and all that stuff. But I did that part of the business I never enjoyed. Jarrett, on the other hand, when Memphis TV was over on a Saturday at noon or 12:30, he would start right then planning and working on writing the next week's TV, which was, our most important thing of the week, our 90-minute long live television show in Memphis every week. It's what was the lifeblood of the company. It's what drew money around the entire territory. That one show was shown the following week in like 10 other cities. And so like Jerry spent all week tweaking and planning and writing the show when he was booking it. And then when it came my turn to book it, I was notorious. I would be in either Tupelo wrestling on Friday night or either Blytheville, Arkansas wrestling on Friday night. And then I would start when I got in the car after the show was over. I'd have somebody driving me, and I would start then, and I would write the Memphis TV for the next morning that showed it. That came on at 11 o'clock. I would write it on the way back to the hotel from whatever town I was in. Just simply because I'm just always been not only a procrastinator, but just kind of a last minute guy. And I didn't like to spend all that time that went into planning that stuff on the business. So I wouldn't be good. I wouldn't be good at trying to help train somebody. I never got into that. A lot of people, I helped train along with Jerry, helped train Jarrett a little bit, and helped work out with Tommy Rich a little bit when those two guys were both getting started. But other than that, I've never really trained anybody. Didn't even train my own son, Brian Christopher. That's just something that never really appealed to me at all in this part of the business. So no, I wouldn't. I've never wanted to or thought about really that much getting involved with creative at WWE.
What I think he mentions NXT, like going down to NXT and offering advice to some of the people who are, at the Performance Center. Would you do that or no?
No, I would not enjoy doing that at all. What? When you talk about advice, it's so funny.
You're the king, though, Jerry. You have so much knowledge. You could spread over all the people who are trying to get in the business, Jerry.
What kind of knowledge? I mean, it's not knowledge. It's experience.
How to throw a punch correctly would be one you could bestow on some people. That would be nice.
Well, because honestly, I've thought about that before. I wouldn't know how to tell somebody or show somebody how to throw a punch.
Yeah.
It's almost like Vince McMahon told me one time. He said, "King, you're just a natural. You're able to do. I've never seen anybody like you that could do every facet of this business well." And he said, "But you're like the most talented guy, one of the most talented guys I've ever met in this business." And I'm flattered by a statement like that, but at the same time, I don't know how I do it. I've just always done stuff, and somehow, luckily, it turned out good. I don't know. I never learned how to throw a punch. I just threw a punch, and I don't know if I could tell anybody else how I do it, and or anything that I do in the ring. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I know enough about stuff to try to impart what I do to somebody else. I really don't. I've never felt that way. I've just gone out and done things, and fortunately, they've usually turned out okay.